Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm very excited to share with you what has been in my makeup bag over the last several weeks and share with you the look I've been wearing almost every day and just my thoughts on the products I have in here and would I repurchase them or when do I want to continue using them going forward. We've got quite a bit to cover, so let's get right into this video. We're going to start off with my skin prep. My skincare routine stays pretty much the same throughout the year, but I have been making it a huge effort to completely use up products in my collection instead of rotating to this one, to that one, to that one, as I've ran into an issue where a few things have expired before I finish them, and I don't want that to happen. So starting off with the last step of my skincare routine, moving into my makeup prep or priming routine, and that is sunscreen. This month I've been making a focus to use up my backup bottle of the Cell Fusion C Laser Sunscreen 100. This has an SPF of 50 plus and a PA rating of 3 plus. And then the other sunscreen is the Skin 1004 Madagascar Centella Airfit Sun Cream Light SPF 30 PA 4 plus. The Skin 1004 is a mineral sunscreen, and then the Cell Fusion C is a combination sunscreen, meaning we have a mix of both mineral physical and chemical filters. Both of these leave a little bit of a white cast. The Skin 1004 leaves a stronger white cast, but for me, if I apply it in 2 to 3 thin layers, it goes away in about 15 to 20 minutes. And then the Cell Fusion C, if I apply this in layers, it goes away in about 5 minutes. Neither sunscreen have caused any issues with my skin stinging or stinging around my eye area, and they both layer really well under makeup. On a day-to-day basis, I use my sunscreen as my primer, and I don't really do a lot of complexion makeup because I feel like my skin has overall, it's become a lot more even as I've really cracked down on my skincare routine and gotten better with using more reapplications of sunscreen throughout the day. I just feel like overall my skin has been in a lot better of a place. So my overall uses of base makeup is way lower than it normally is. The first thing I start with for my base is the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion 901 Fair Glow. Day to day, I don't really use a ton of brushes. In my makeup bag here, I have one makeup brush and I have my beauty sponge on standby. I love brushes, but for every single day, if I want to actually use the makeup and get the most use out of it, I like to make it as easy as possible because it's one of those things for me, if it takes extra steps or extra time, I'm less likely to do it. So if I lay things out for myself in a way in which they are really easy to adhere to, then I'm more likely to stick with them. The next step in my routine has been brightening because I feel like around my mouth area, I've been feeling just slightly ashen or a little dull. So I've been using the Revlon Color Stay Skin Awakening Caffeine plus Vitamin C 5-in-1 Concealer. This is the shade 2002 Universal Brightener. One of those little concealer correctors that has the puff applicator. I just run it around my mouth where I have some shadowing going on or a little bit of dullness. My shadowing really coincides with where I shave. You know, it's something that's going to be there. I don't do a full-on beard block, but I do like to fade it down just a pinch so that way it doesn't show through when I do my complexion makeup. For this one, you could use a brush, but since it's every day and I don't mind if it's sheared out a little bit, I just use my beauty sponge, and this just keeps it feeling very thin, very lightweight, and easy. Going forward, I don't know if I would keep this particular product in my makeup bag for this purpose. I really like Revlon Skin Awakening Brightener for under my eyes when I want to add a nice highlight, but around my mouth, it does a decent job, but I would prefer something with a little bit more saturation. The foundation I've been focusing on is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer Long Wear Makeup with a broad spectrum SPF 19, and the shade I have is 1C1 Cool Bone. This is a very liquidy satin matte foundation, and you have to give it a really good shake. This is one of those foundations that does really beautiful with a brush or sponge, but I love the tactile experience of applying it with my fingers, and I use this as almost like my concealer foundation in one step. And I also like to run whatever I have left over on my fingers just over my lid to act as like a little bit of a brightening base. I know a lot of us here love using makeup and different beauty products to enhance the way we feel and make ourselves kind of look and feel our best on a day-to-day basis. How many of you sometimes feeling like going through all of the steps on a day-to-day basis is a little overwhelming? I enjoy them. I love doing them. I love having a collection of different products that I can use when I want to achieve different effects or if I'm in a different mood one day to the next. But on a day-to-day basis, how many of you find that you like things just a little bit more simple? It's almost like you have your formal wear or more dressed up going out cosmetics and you have your more simple pared back day-to-day products. Working in the cosmetic industry for over 10 years, I kind of feel like that stuck with me because, you know, almost every day that you go in, you are doing a full face makeup. For most counters, that was the rules. You had to wear products that kind of showcase the product as well as your skill to sell service to other people. So even though the way I've done my makeup has changed over the years, there was still a lot of product I was applying every day, and I found that I still kind of go through those motions of we need to do foundation, concealer, highlight, bronzer or contour, blush, eyeshadow, eyeliner, mascara, just all the things. And to me, it kind of feels like backwards because when I was working in retail cosmetics and working with clients and we're kind of building their everyday makeup bag, I was always one of the first sales associates to tell you, you don't need to do all the things. Find the things that are going to make you feel your best and work with the time constraints that you have on a daily basis. Meanwhile, I have just completely ignored that for myself. So kind of going back to taking my own advice and using a more simple routine that really enhances things I want to enhance and kind of gives me a little bit of coverage or veils things that I don't want to enhance has been a really, really lovely approach. It's made me feel just really good in my own skin. And that's something I really love about this Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer is it gives you coverage, but it sits so close to the skin and it blends out quite easily. Now, if my blend's not 100% perfect, it's okay because I go back in with my beauty sponge and I just press right over. When I set my foundation in my makeup bag, I always make sure I set it right side up so that way everything just kind of bounces out. But also, I've noticed as this stands straight like this, you can see the product settle down and I can actively see the product getting used up, and that has been such a rewarding feeling because unless it's a product I really, really love and I can't shake my love of using the product, like something like my #1 de Chanel foundation, a lot of things just don't always get used up and they end up getting thrown away because they expire, and I don't want to put expired products on my face every day. But really focusing on using my products up has felt just, again, so rewarding, and I like seeing that my products are running lower and lower. In my bag, I do have a concealer, and it is the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer, and I have the shade Light, and you can see I am really making my way through this. So with this one, I do feel like you would benefit from having a brush to apply it, but since I've got a pretty even base, I just take a teeny tiny bit on the back of my hand, work and warm it up with my finger, and then I will tap right under my eyes. This particular shade Light is just a little too dark for what I like. I like my concealer to just do a little bit of brightening. We're not going back to like a 2010 triangle of light under the eyes. I like something just a little bit more subtle. This, though, even though it's a little bit darker than that, it does work as a really good skin tone match for my skin tone. I almost dab it on and pat it with my finger like you would an eye cream. Now is the point where I kind of step back, I look at my base, I see if I want to add coverage anywhere, I see if maybe my foundation's just not doing it for the day and I want a little bit more coverage, I'll go with concealer. But right now, where we're at, I kind of feel great. This is where I like to be for most days. So let's move on to adding a little bit of color to the complexion. In my makeup bag, I've got two different blush products. I have the Flower Beauty Gel Crush Lip and cheek in the shade Strawberry Crush. This one is getting a little bit old. It still smells okay. I know I've had this open longer than 2 years, so since it's something that doesn't really excite me, I don't find it last very well on the cheeks, I'm going to go ahead and part with this and move this over to the empties bag. But for today, I'm going to show you what it looks like on the skin, and then I'm going to go over it with something else. I don't like to take it directly onto my cheeks. I will take it on the back of my hand and then use the larger side of my beauty sponge and just press right over. It goes on really pretty. It matches quite well with my shirt, but it just doesn't last very well. Even if I've tried layering it over top of a pressed powder, it just doesn't last on me like I want it to for a blush product. I like blush to hang on for quite a while because I'm not really gonna retouch it throughout the day unless I notice it's done disappearing at. And the one that I brought in later throughout the month when I was just kind of feeling underwhelmed with that blush product was the Tarte Man Eater Blush and Glow Cheek Plump. This is in the shade Pink. This is the original formula that came out, so this has a little bit of a sheen to it, but I wouldn't say it's a glitter or a shine. It's just a very healthy glow to the cheek. And this is something I used my beauty sponge to apply. The little beauty sponges I like to use are from AOA Studios. Whenever I'm in the US, I pick up a bag. Well, I pick up a bag when I need them because you get 6 in a bag. I use each sponge for about 3 months and then I discard it. So I've purchased 2 bags over the years and I really enjoy them. I find them to be a lot softer than the Beauty Blender and they're a lot more affordable. So that is why I choose to go with a beauty sponge. I'm just gonna apply a little bit more on this side and that's where I'm gonna sit at for my blush application. Before I proceed with adding more color to my skin, I am gonna add a little bit of color to my lips. And I've really enjoyed playing with lip colors because I finally finished my Invisalign treatment. It's been just over 40 weeks and I feel like my teeth are in a great place. That tooth I had that was out of alignment has gone back into alignment and I just feel really good with where my teeth are now and I feel a lot more confident with my smile. So I've been having fun playing with different lip combos and I have been using 3 different lip pencils. So I've been focusing on one from Etude, Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Original, and MAC Dervish. So the lip combo I've really been enjoying recently is starting off with Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. I like using this shade to do a rough outline on my lips. Then using my Etude Soft Touch Auto Lip Liner. Not sure what shade this is, but it'll be listed in the description box. I think these lip pencils have been discontinued. I remember when I purchased this, it was like around $4 or $5 on YesStyle. And this lip pencil is a little bit drier. So I'm going to use this to fill in the inner portion of my lips. And then once I have the lip pencil on, I've been taking a tissue and just doing a quick blot. You don't really need to. it's been something I've been into and nothing really comes off. But then I will go through and take my powder brush. This month I've been focusing on the BK Beauty number 103, which I think is their bronzer powder brush. And I've been using the Can Make Marshmallow Finish powder. The shade I have is WMP. I think this particular shade has been discontinued, but there are other shades that look very similar on the website. I purchased this particular product because I heard it was a really good affordable alternative for the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush powder, but this was around $10 and I purchased it when I was in the US on Amazon, and Can Make does have an official Amazon store in the US. Next, I proceed with the lip tint, and I have 3 different lip tints I've been kind of layering throughout the month. I have shown you several times my beloved Roman Juicy Lasting Tint. This is shade number 25 Air Gray. One that I've used a little bit less frequently on my channel is from Laka, and this is in the shade 102 Dooley. And I like to give it a nice little shake and then scrape off most of the product that's on the little applicator. And then I've been enjoying using this almost like a lip liner. So focusing most of the product in the corner of the lip and then treating it more like a liner. And using my lips, rubbing them together will work the stain into the lips, and then I give it another blot. This one will transfer just a bit, and then I'm gonna go in with a slightly brighter shade, Peri Para Ink Mood Glowy Tints in shade number 8 Pink Do It. This shade is quite bright. It's definitely more of like a light summer pink. I really like using it on the very center point of the lips, and then letting it brighten up the rest of the lip just from having that center point a little bit brighter, and then give it another blot. Now I am going to move into my eyes, and I keep eyes pretty simple. Start off with an eyeshadow base, and throughout the month all three of these products have just kind of worked their way in. I started off originally with the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize in the shade Pillow Talk, a really nice shade that I like to apply with my finger and run it right over my eyelid, just past the socket of my eye, and then I'll use my small finger to go through and blend. Originally I had put together this makeup bag close to the end of March, right before we left for our trip to London. Some of these products were going to be the ones I took with me on my trip, but I decided to leave this makeup bag here and just kind of take a few different products. I've shown in another video the products I brought with me, but I kept the products in the bag to use as like an everyday makeup bag. Have a group of products I focus on and just kind of see how they make me feel throughout the month. See if there's something I want to keep using. Can I part ways with them? Is it something I want to use up? Just really kind of reaffirm my thoughts and feelings on products. The Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Eyes to Mesmerize, really beautiful neutral rosy shade. Slightly skews a little bit on the neutral warm side. For my skin tone, I'm more on the neutral cool tone side, and this does look a little bit warmer, but as a base I quite enjoy it. If you're someone who has a very cool undertone, your hair color is cool, your eye color is cool toned, if everything about you is very cool toned, this might pull a little almost like a burnished warm rose shade. So after we got back from our trip, we were going out to dinner, and I wanted to add just a little bit of shimmer to the eyes, and I ended up bringing in 3 products. So I'm going to show you one on one side, one on the other. The first one we're going to take a look at is my Lisa Eldridge Liquid Lorax in the shade Bianca. And then I use my finger to press and pull. As the month has progressed, I have used this as a standalone eyeshadow. So using Bianca as just a one and done eyeshadow with a little bit of mascara, maybe a little bit of a bronzer or something in the socket line. That's an easy way to wear it. So either by itself or using the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk cream shadow as a base. The other one I brought in the same time as the Lisa Eldridge is a newer one from CoverGirl. This is the Exhibitionist Cream Eyeshadow, and this was done in collaboration with Kelsey Ballerini, and this is shade number 2. It's very similar to Bianca, but it's a little bit warmer, a little bit more copper, but you can get a very similar effect. And it's also going to be a pinch deeper. So if you find the Lisa Eldridge shade Bianca just to be a little too light for your personal preference, and you want something closer to Pillow Talk with a little bit more of a warm, coppery champagne pearl, you might prefer the CoverGirl, and it's a lot more affordable. The only downside is I think I read these were limited edition, so if you like a shade, you might want to get it for yourself sooner than later. The evening I brought in those 2 cream eyeshadows, I also brought in an eyeshadow palette, and I wanted to create a multi-dimensional look that I could take from day to night, or you just have a few different options. So I brought in my Old Faithful Tom Ford eyeshadow quad, and this is in the shade Nude Dip. 3 topper shades and a more shimmery defining shade. Most days I will use either the more rosy taupe or the more minky shade, and something I've done the last couple times I've gone out is start off with the minky shade, just using my finger, run that right over my eyelid. So that is this more slight taupey gray shade, and run that right over top of the Lisa Eldridge or CoverGirl eyeshadow, and worked on top of those shadows. You can see it adds a little bit of depth. Next, I like to use the golden shade, and I'll use that on my small finger, and this is definitely now taking it more towards an evening look because we're layering up, creating almost like a simple smoky eye. Start with this on my inner corner, almost use it with my shape of my finger to contour the crease of my eye and just add that pop to the inner corner. For my personal preference, using the combination of the Charlotte Tilbury and one of the cream eyeshadows for layering purposes, ones, I prefer the Lisa Eldridge because it's a little bit lighter and brighter, and it lets shades, especially like the light champagne gold shade that we just applied on the inner corner of the eyes, just to pop a little bit more. Next, I like to use the more rosy shade, and I just wipe this right over the entire eyelid, using it to blend together the more taupe and champagne shade. Now, I've only used the darkest shade once or twice, and the 2 times I used it was very much on a whim, and I didn't have a makeup brush with me, so I just grabbed a little cotton bud. Using just a bit on the cotton bud, I used it at the very outer corner of my eyes as a very subtle eyeliner. And from there, I felt like I'm okay to move on with mascara, and I've been loving the Maybelline Sky High Lash Sensational Mascara in the shade, I believe it's called Burgundy Haze, and it's really lovely. The first time I used this over the Benefit Tinted Lash Primer, and it added a little bit more depth to the shade of the mascara, but this one on its own, it doesn't look purple or magenta on the eyelashes. It almost acts like a slightly burgundy brown. It's really beautiful, and I find it just really helps to enhance the green shade of my eyes. I just love what that mascara does on the eyes, and it's Maybelline, it's a drugstore, it's a little bit more affordable. It's really, really nice. This was pretty much my day to night look, and I really, really loved it. Later in the month, I did bring in the Essence Lash Princess Mascara in the shade Black Brown, but I found out very, very quickly, this does not wear very beautifully on my eyelashes. It looks great when it goes on, but it's not water resistant, and if I don't put the Maybelline on top of it, it gives me the most intense, dark, smudgy rings around my eyes, and it makes me sad because this is really beautiful when it first goes on, but it smudges and runs really, really bad, and I found it very embarrassing when I was out and I looked in the mirror by chance and saw I had rings all around my eyes. Not fun. So I love the Maybelline. The Maybelline is more expensive than the Essence, but the Essence smudged really, really bad on me, so I prefer the Maybelline. Now I'm going to use a little bit more of my Can Make powder with my BK Beauty 103, and this foundation has had time to dry down, so I'm just going to run over my face and set things down. I would say about a week and a half ago I felt like I needed bronzer, so Laura Geller Baked Bronze and Bright in the shade Fair, same BK Beauty brush, and just running that on the upper perimeter of my face. Take a little bit here in the outer corner of my eyes, on my chin, on the neck, and then adding in a little bit of my e.l.f. Wow Brow and Taupe just to keep the eyebrows in place, using the tip of the spoolie to fill in any sparse areas. And as far as makeup products, this is pretty much the everyday face. Now, I've been talking and it's taking me a little bit longer. We're currently setting at 36 minutes when I'm doing this in the washroom just right after I brush my teeth. This normally takes me about maybe 10 minutes if I'm really taking my time. It's generally very quick, very easy. Slap it on and go. There are a few more products in this bag I want to talk about, so let's just take a look at them one by one. I've been really loving the Sarah Hat Lip Slip. What is the full name of this? Lip Slip 1 Luxe Balm. I purchased this at a newer boutique here in Toronto called Etiquette, and I have wanted to try this out for quite some time. I just never had. It is a really beautiful lip wrap balm, and it adds the most beautiful gloss to the lips. I really, really love it. Going forward, I am going to take this out of my makeup bag, leave this here in my office, and replace it with the Tatcha Kisu lip mask. I've had the Tatcha Kisu mask longer, so I'm gonna move this in here. That way I can focus on using up the Tatcha Kisu lip mask. I also have in here an Aquaphor lip repair treatment balm. I don't use this often. I bought it when I was driving through the States and I just needed a lip balm really quickly. So I purchased this one, I think at a CVS or Walgreens. It's okay, just not my favorite. My tried and true favorite lip treatment for nights when I don't want to use my CeraVe healing ointment is the Épine Sickle Fate Balm, and this is very similar to the product for the face, but it's a little bit thinner, a little bit more occlusive, and almost like a nourishing gloss for the lips. I really enjoy it, and this is third tube I've been through. Then I also have in my wet brush comb. It's just quick and easy when I just want to refresh, restyle, but I don't want to use like a round brush or something like that. I love this comb, and it's so gentle on the hair. And then I also have my floss. So for every morning when I first wake up, brush my teeth, I like to use the Oral-B Glide Pro Health Deep Clean Floss. It's nice, it's easy. It's just I have a lot of these on hand because we got them at Costco, so I'm using this one in the morning. And in the evenings before I go to bed, I use the Cocoa Floss. And I'm currently using, I believe this is the strawberry flavor. Oh yes, it says right here, pure strawberry. I don't notice a strong taste. It's okay, I enjoy it. I like Cocoa Floss. It is a coconut fiber floss. So once it kind of, I guess, interacts with your saliva, it slightly expands, and it really kind of helps fill up space in the gum pocket. So I feel like I'm getting a really nice clean. And over the last couple months, I have really fallen in love with Teeth Talk Girl here on YouTube. I think her name is Whitney. She's a dental hygienist. She leaves some really great tips in her videos, and it's really caused me to rechange my entire oral hygiene routine. And I started following her right before I started doing my Invisalign treatment because I was really worried about having the trays on. I was gonna get a cavity or something like that, and I didn't want to get a cavity, so I really upped my dental hygiene. In the morning, I brush my teeth, clean my tongue, and then I floss, put my trays in, and then anytime I eat, I will brush and floss. And then before I go to bed, I use my water floss, then I brush my teeth, clean my tongue, floss my teeth, and then I use an interdental brush or epoxy brush, put my trays in, go back to bed. And up until my last orthodontic visit where they announced I finished my treatment, I was wearing my Invisalign trays for a full 22 hours a day, almost every day. There was maybe once or twice where we were downtown and I'm like, oh, my teeth feel really sharp. Oh no, I don't have them in. But I was very proud of myself because I was really consistent with wearing them for the full 22 hours a day, except for those 2 occasions. And then now I still wear them almost all day because I'm in the process of waiting to go back and get my permanent retainers put in, but we had to delay my appointment a little bit because I'm getting ready to leave to go back to Virginia. My mom has her big reconstructive surgery coming up, so I'm gonna go home, help out my family with that. And my sister-in-law had the baby. She is the cutest little thing ever. I just cannot wait to go home, hold her and squeeze her and love her. So lots of stuff going on with the family. So my retainer appointment isn't until the end of June, so I'm gonna keep wearing my last set of trays, but now I can take them out. Like now I don't have them in, I can talk. I'm getting used to filling my teeth in my mouth again, so it's been very interesting. But going back to Cocoa Floss, I've really enjoyed using it. And then I don't know if it's gonna go before or after this, but I recently recorded the perfume trays that I've been loving. So the perfume tray I did for spring, and then the perfume tray I'm doing for summer. I've already recorded my final thoughts on the spring tray, what I'm putting into the summer tray, but there is a fragrance that I didn't include in that because this is in my kind of bedtime fragrance drawer. This is a newer fragrance from L'Occitane, Nobile Épine. I love this so much. This is so beautiful. My husband and I smelled this in store right before we left for London, and this was kind of being teased as a Mother's Day release for the North American market. In London or the UK, we never saw this fragrance or the other green version in store, but I think it now has been released in the UK market. This is so beautiful. There's this one, there is a green one. There's also one with a yellow wooden lid. I haven't seen or smelled that, but this one really stood out to me because it smells like the Jergens Cherry Blossom Almond Scent. I really love it. This bottle is 50 ml and it was 110 Canadian dollars. L'Occitane did just recently do a friends and family sale, so I was able to get 20% off my purchase of this product, of this fragrance. And it's really nice. It's not the most long wearing fragrance. I get about 3 to 4 hours, but for me, lounging around the house, ready to go to bed, it is perfect. And it is just, again, in that vein of of lotion, a fragrance that smells like really luxurious body lotions. It's very comforting, very cocooning, very relaxing, and it's not offensive, and it makes me so happy to wear, so I had to share this with all of you. That is going to conclude today's video. I hope you enjoyed seeing what was inside of my makeup bag for the last couple weeks, seeing my thoughts on these cosmetic products as well as fragrance. Really excited to hear what your thoughts are. Are you going to adopt a similar approach with your makeup bag? Do you already do something like to share with me all of your thoughts, all of your tips, and product suggestions for things for me to check out going forward? Until we see each other again, I hope you're taking care of yourself wherever it is you are in the world, and I will see you later. Bye, y'all.